everyone. Now we are going to talk about rectification.
We have two types of currents: AC alternating current and DC direct current.
There are two types of applications in our day-to-day life: electric and electronic. Electric applications can be directly connected to the main supply. Now, for example, if you take a fan, in the fan there is a motor, it is an AC motor, therefore it can be directly connected to the AC supply, your main supply, and it can be functioned. And also, if you take the electric iron, electric iron can be directly connected to the main supply and we can use it. But electronic application, now for example the computer, in the computer we have a power supply unit. In the power supply unit, AC voltage is converted into DC, and there are different parts of the computer where sometimes 5 volt is required, sometimes 10 volt is required, and so on. This required voltage is supplied to those positions, those places, by the power supply unit. Okay. And also, if you take your TV set, we connect the TV set directly to the main supply, but inside the TV we have a power supply unit, and in the power supply unit this AC voltage is converted into DC, and thereafter it is used in the TV, and so on. So this conversion of AC voltage into DC is called the rectification. This can be done using diodes. So now here we are going to study how these diodes can be used for the rectification.
Now this is the characteristic curve of a diode. This is the forward bias situation, and you can see in the forward bias situation, when the input voltage is greater than the barrier voltage, a good current can be seen through the diode. That means the diode function as a conductor under forward bias condition. And also you can see in the reverse bias curve, the scale here, this is actually in microampere. Even if we have marked the reverse bias current in the microampere scale, we have very small current, which means we can neglect this current in comparison with the forward bias current. Therefore we consider here, under reverse bias condition, the diode does not conduct. Then we can thought of diode as a valve for the current. It allows current to flow in a single direction and restrict the flow of current in the opposite direction.
Now we can use this property of a diode in the rectification process. In alternating current flow in certain direction at one half cycle and the other direction in the other half cycle. This is the property we are going to use in the rectification.
Now consider this circuit. This is a very simple circuit diagram which can be used for the rectification. Here we have the alternating supply. Alternating supply has the variation of voltage with the time as this. We have the load resistance RL. Now during the first half of the input cycle, let's say the current flow in this direction. Then during the first half cycle, diode is forward biased, therefore there will be a current flow, there will be a variation of voltage through RL, and the current flow through RL take place in this direction. Then if you consider the second half cycle, current is trying to go the other way, but now the diode is reverse bias, therefore no current flow take place, no voltage variation. Then the output voltage variation will be something like this. During the first half cycle, I can call this positive half cycle. During the positive half cycle, current flow take place, voltage variation take place. During the negative half cycle, second half cycle, no current flow take place, no voltage variation take place, and thereafter again in the next half cycle current flow take place. So now there is the current flow through RL in a single direction. That is the basic expectation of rectification. Therefore it is successful for a certain extent, but during this time there is no current or voltage. That is a weakness, which means part of the energy of input wave has been lost because second half cycle is missing. Therefore energy during the second half cycle is not uh, come to the output voltage. This rectification is called half wave rectification, because if you consider this as a wave, then only half of the wave is rectified and the other half is missing. Now this is the output voltage variation of half wave rectification. But if we carefully look at the output voltage variation of half wave rectification, we know that when a diode conducts, it always keep barrier voltage across it. Therefore output voltage will be always VB less than the input voltage. Then if we have the peak voltage of supply VP, then output peak voltage will be Vp minus Vb. There will be a slight decrement of output voltage with respect to the input voltage. This difference is negligibly small because Vb is somewhere around 0.7 or 0.3 type of voltage, but Vp is actually greater than 300 volt, because 230 240 is the RMS voltage. Peak voltage is greater than that. Then this difference can be neglected. And also you can see there is a small time difference in the beginning of input voltage increment and output voltage increment. That is also understandable because when input voltage become greater than 0.7 volt, output voltage start increasing. Therefore output voltage actually starts when the input voltage is 0.7 volt. But this time difference is negligibly small because you can understand our AC frequency is 50 Hz. That means there will be 50 complete cycles in 1 second. Therefore duration per cycle is 1 over 50th of a second. Duration of a half cycle is 1 over 100th of a second, and the time taken to increase the input voltage from 0 to Vp is 200th of a second. Then you can imagine how short time it takes to increase the voltage from 0 to 0.7. Therefore this is also negligible. Then this time difference is negligible, this voltage difference is negligible. Therefore we can consider previous output voltage as the correct output voltage, but it is better to know there is a slight delay here. During the half wave rectification, the voltage across RL is 0 during the second half cycle or negative half cycle. When we connect the capacitor like this, which is parallel to the RL,
We have studied the variation of voltage of a capacitor with time in the electric field. Now you can remember it is a graph like this.
now capacitor do something like this. During the first half cycle, the capacitor charges to the peak voltage, and once the output voltage start decreasing as shown in the green line, now capacitor start giving a current in this direction. Therefore voltage across RL does not fall as shown in the green line, but the variation of voltage take place around this red line. Since the capacitor is discharging, its voltage decreases gradually. Therefore voltage decrement take place, but voltage is never become zero across RL. This voltage variation is called the ripple voltage. This ripple is also very small value. Now the voltage variation across RL has been more or less smooth, Therefore, this type of capacitors are called smoothing capacitors. During the half wave rectification, the second half cycle is missing in the output. Therefore, energy related to the second half cycle is also vanished or also lost. We cannot use that energy through RL in half wave rectification, but it is better if we can use that energy also through RL, then it will increase the efficiency of this rectification process. Now consider this circuit. This is actually designed to use the second half cycle also in the output. Therefore, during the second half cycle also there is a current and voltage through RL. Therefore, there is higher efficiency compared to the half wave rectification here. Let's see how this happen in detail. Now look at the graph shown here. This is the input voltage variation, and let's consider during the first half cycle A is positive with respect to B. Then current is trying to flow like this. When current comes to this point, there are two paths, but you can see D3 is reverse bias. Therefore, current flow through D1 and go through RL and come to this point. Now again it has two paths, and now you can see it appears that D3 is also forward bias, but it is not certainly so. D2 is also forward bias. Now current has these two options. If current take D3 path, now current can either go through the same cycle again, or current can go to the starting position.
Now this must be understood. A current flow in a battery is not to light a bulb or rotate a motor, but actually it is a process that takes place due to the energy, because charges at a higher potential likes to be at a low potential. Then positive terminal of battery is at a higher potential and negative terminal is at a lower potential. Therefore, charges at the positive terminal like to move to the negative terminal and become stable, right? Now here there is a transformation of energy, that is the energy we use for our purposes, to light a bulb or work out a fan or whatever it is, function a computer, anything. So the charge doesn't like to move back to the starting position again or move in a same loop. Therefore, charge always try to take the lowest resistance path and go to the lower potential and become stable.
Therefore, now current reach this point will not take this path because it cannot accomplish its objective. Therefore, it takes this path through D2, then it go through D2 and P. Thereafter, it can complete its journey. Then if we consider the second half cycle, current flow in this direction, P is positive with respect to A, then current again come to this point, then it can see D2 is reverse bias, D1 for D4 forward bias, therefore it goes through that, and also D1 reverse bias, therefore current flow in this path and go through RL and come to this point. Then again it can see there are two possible paths. The expectation of the current is not accomplished in this way, therefore it takes the path through D3 and come to the lower potential and complete its journey. So during both of these cycles you can see the current through RL is in one direction, and during the both cycles there is a current and there is a voltage across RL. So that is why this is called the full wave rectification. Now if we observe the current flow in both cycles, we can see that the current flow through two diodes, either D1 D2 or D3 D4. Therefore, if we look at the output voltage variation very closely, then we can see peak output voltage is 2 VB less than the peak voltage VP. You know the reason for this time delay. So now this will be the real output voltage variation of full wave rectification. Now if we connect a capacitor parallel to RL as we did in the half wave rectification, we can smooth the variation of output voltage as this. Now you can see this is the voltage variation with the capacitor, and the dotted line or green one is the output voltage variation without the capacitor. Now you can understand this triple voltage is also reduced compared to the full wave rectification curve. Now this is the full wave rectification curve. You can see it takes relatively longer time and therefore capacitor discharge more, but here capacitor discharge less, and therefore actually we can consider this voltage variation is nearly same as a voltage variation of direct current. Now here we have another circuit which can be used for the full wave rectification. The specialty of this circuit is it has used only two diodes, and here I have shown you the transformer. This is the alternative source. This type of transformers are specially called center tap transformers because center of the secondary coil has been tapped with the conductor. Now assume that during the first half cycle this side become positive, then the current flow in this direction, then this diode become forward bias, so it conducts and current come to this junction, but the current cannot flow in this direction because this diode is reverse bias. Therefore current continue to flow and go through RL, then enter to the coil at the center. Then during the second half cycle this side become positive and the current flow in this way, and this diode is forward bias, it conducts and flow like this and come to here. Then this diode is reverse bias, therefore current continue in this direction and go through RL, again enter the coil at the center. Now you can see during both half cycles there is a current through RL and the current flow is into the same direction. Therefore full wave rectification has been performed, but only two diodes are used. There are two things you have to identify here. One is, now in a center tap transformer output voltage is half of the output voltage of the secondary coil, because the coil is tapped at the center. Therefore only the potential difference between this end and the center will be applied to the output. Sometimes it can be considered as a disadvantage. And the other thing is, in any half cycle only a single diode conducts, therefore the potential drop is only VB. Now you saw that in the full wave rectification with bridge circuit, two diode conducts and the output voltage is always 2 VB less than the input voltage, but here only VB less than the input voltage. That means the peak output voltage is VP minus VB. That can be considered as a advantage if it is required. Now look at this circuit. This is the exact circuit we used in the half wave rectification. Now this green dotted line is the input voltage variation, and here we will make an assumption that the output voltage does not vary. The ripple voltage is 0 and therefore output voltage is steady at this value shown in the red line. Now we want to talk about this particular moment where the input voltage is at the peak during the second half cycle. Now at this moment B is at the higher potential with respect to A. Now if we assume that A's potential is 0 at this moment, then B's potential will be plus VP. Understand this clearly. B's potential with respect to A is plus Vp. And then B and Y must have the same potential. Therefore, Y's potential also must be plus Vp. At this moment, capacitor has been charged, this as negative and this as positive, because it was charged during the first half cycle. During the first half cycle, A was positive with respect to B. Then, if we consider the potential difference of the capacitor remain unchanged during the discharging process, then plus plate, positive plate must be at Vp potential with respect to negative plate. But negative plate is connected to Y is at plus Vp potential, then positive plate must be at a 2 Vp potential. Then X is also at the 2 Vp potential. Now if you look at this diode is reverse bias, and its potentials at this side 2 Vp, the other side 0, therefore potential difference is 2 Vp. And we know that there is a breakdown voltage for a diode. Therefore, if the breakdown voltage of this diode is less than 2 Vp, now diode will be breakdown at this moment. Then we must keep in mind that when we use a diode for the half wave rectification, its breakdown voltage must be greater than 2 Vp for the proper half wave rectification. Next, consider this circuit, the bridge circuit we use for the full wave rectification. Again, I am going to talk about the peak voltage of the second half cycle. At this moment, D1 and D2 are reverse bias and D3 and D4 are forward bias. Now if we consider potential at A is 0, B's potential must be plus Vp. If B's potential is plus Vp, the potential at this point also will be plus Vp. Now if we assume that the barrier potential is negligibly small, there is no barrier potential across this diode, then potential at this point also plus Vp. Now A's potential is 0, then the potential at this point also 0. Now you can see the potential drop across D1 is Vp. And also D3 is forward bias at this moment, therefore potential at this point also will be 0, and the potential difference across D2, which is reverse bias, is also Vp. Then we can conclude that when we select diodes for the bridge circuit, their breakdown voltage must be greater than Vp for the proper full wave rectification. And also note that the same idea can be shown for D3 and D4 considering the first half cycle, but I am not going to do that here. Try to understand this by yourself for D3 and D4.